Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something right now. A man can hide his words. He can hide behind pride. He can even hide behind silence. But when he misses you, oh, he's going to slip up. See, missing somebody that ain't something you can control, that's not strategy. That's not a choice. That's the heart talking louder than the ego. You ever notice how people try so hard to act unbothered? Post the pictures, show the smiles, play the cool game. But deep down, that absence eats at them. And when it eats long enough, it shows. He'll break his own rules. He'll stumble, he'll reach out without meaning to. That's the truth about men. We're masters at pretending until feelings take over. So if you're sitting there wondering, does he even think about me? Does he even care? Listen closely, because the signs don't show up in the words he speaks. They show up in the slip-ups he can't hide. And when a man misses you, trust me, those slip-ups are coming. He breaks his own silence. Let me tell you something about men and silence. Every man, when he's trying to prove a point, when he's trying to hold on to his pride, will tell himself one thing: I ain't gonna call her. I ain't gonna reach out. I'm done. He'll sit there and act like he's the most disciplined, most unbothered man alive. He'll puff his chest out, show his boys that he's strong, tell himself over and over again, I'm not making the first move. But let me give you the truth. Silence is the first wall that crumbles when a man really misses a woman. Because missing somebody ain't a strategy. It ain't a plan. It ain't even a choice. It's a pressure that builds up. It's that late night when the phone is right there on the pillow and his mind is racing. It's that morning when he wakes up and for a split second, he expects a message from you, only to realize it ain't coming. That right there. That's when the silence starts breaking him down from the inside. See, a man thinks he's got control. He thinks he can out-stubborn his own emotions. But you and I know better. Emotions are louder than pride. Missing somebody is like holding your breath underwater. You can do it for a little while, but eventually you're coming up for air. And when he comes up for air, that silence is the first thing that goes. Now watch how it happens. At first, he'll fight it. He'll scroll through your old messages, but stop himself from typing. He'll open your social media page, stare at your pictures, then close it quick like he ain't just been there for 20 minutes. He'll even type out a text. Hey, how you been? Then erase it, telling himself, nope, I'm not doing it. But missing you is a war inside his head. And when a man starts losing that war, he slips. He presses send. He dials your number. He breaks the very silence he swore he'd never break. And let me tell you, when that happens, it's not because he's weak. It's because you mattered. You left an imprint on his soul that his ego couldn't erase. Silence works just fine when feelings are shallow. But when the love, the chemistry, the memories run deep, silence becomes unbearable. That's when the slip-ups begin. Sometimes it won't even be a direct call. Sometimes it's subtle. He'll send you a meme at 1:00 a.m. like that's some innocent move. He'll accidentally call and then say, oh, I must have pocket dialed. He'll send a random text about something meaningless just to see if you respond. But understand this, a man who truly doesn't care doesn't reach out at all. When he breaks his silence, it's his heart taking the wheel, even when his pride is screaming in the back seat. Now, here's the part women need to hear. Don't mistake the silence for indifference, because silence is often a cover. It's a mask men wear to protect themselves from looking vulnerable. Men are taught from a young age, don't be soft, don't show weakness, don't let her know you care too much. So they go quiet thinking that's strength. But when you've touched a man's spirit, when you've been on his mind day after day, that silence cracks. It can't hold forever. And let's be real. It doesn't usually happen at the times you expect. It's not when you're sitting by the phone waiting. It's not when you're posting your best pictures, hoping he'll notice. No, it's when you've moved on with your day, when you've stopped checking, when you're finally at peace. That's when it burns him the most, because silence cuts both ways. Your silence, your absence, it echoes, and men don't admit it out loud, but they feel that echo louder than you think. That's why when he finally breaks his own silence, it's more than just a message or a call. It's proof. Proof that no matter how hard he tried to hold back, no matter how much he tried to play tough, you were still there living rent-free in his head and in his heart. That's why that text shows up. That's why that call comes in. That's why that random, just checking on you, message appears out of nowhere. It's not coincidence. It's not casual. It's the first crack in the wall he built to keep you out. So understand this, a man breaking his own silence isn't just about communication. It's about revelation. It reveals where his heart really is. It shows you that pride has limits, but love and longing, they don't. He shows up where you are. Now let me break this down for you. When a man really starts missing you, he doesn't always come straight out and say it. Oh no, that would be too simple, too vulnerable. A man's pride won't let him just pick up the phone and confess, baby, I miss you. I need to see you. Instead, he'll try to play it cool. He'll convince himself he's strong enough to keep the silence going. But here's what really happens. His heart drags him back into your world. He starts showing up where you are. And he'll act like it's a coincidence, but you and I both know better. See, when a man is missing you, he starts to crave your presence, even if he doesn't have the courage to say it out loud. He wants to feel that energy again, that comfort, that connection. And sometimes the only way he knows how to feed that craving without admitting it is by putting himself in your orbit. That's when you notice him popping up in places he never used to be. Suddenly he's at that cafe you love, standing in line like it's just another random Tuesday. Suddenly he's around when your friends invite you somewhere, or maybe it's digital. All of a sudden he's in your comments like in your posts, watching your stories the moment you put them up. Now here's the truth, men don't put themselves where they don't want to be. If a man is present, it's intentional. If he's around you, it's because he's drawn there. So when you see him circling your world, showing up in your spaces, that's not an accident. That's him slipping. That's his heart saying, I can't stay away. And you'll notice it's never subtle for long. At first, maybe it's a random, like on a picture from 3 weeks ago. Then it's a comment on something funny you posted. Next thing you know, he's sliding into group hangouts, making excuses to be near you. And when you look at him, he'll act like it's all casual. He'll shrug his shoulders like, oh, I didn't even know you'd be here. But that man knew. He knew. Missing you pushes him out of hiding and into your view because presence is his way of feeding what silence starved. Think about it. When somebody's not important to us, we don't chase their shadow. We don't hunt for their company. But when someone's absence feels heavy, you'll find yourself drawn back, even when you swore you wouldn't go. That's what happens to a man when he's been trying to hold out, but he can't fight the pull anymore. He shows up. He chooses to be where you are because being close to you, even in the smallest way, feels better than staying stuck in that lonely pride. And don't be fooled by the disguise. Sometimes he won't approach you directly. He'll hover, linger, wait for the moment you notice him. He'll pretend he just happened to be there, that it wasn't planned. But men don't move like that by accident. If he's in your world again, it's because his heart pulled him there. His actions are telling on him, even if his mouth stays shut. What makes it even clearer is the timing. He doesn't show up when everything between you is fine, when communication is open. He shows up after distance, after silence, after he's tried to keep away. That's when the slip happens. Because you don't go looking for someone you've forgotten. You don't go standing in places connected to someone you don't think about. You only do that when the pull is too strong to ignore. I'm telling you right now, a man missing you will use presence as his confession. He may not admit it outright, But he'll position himself where you can feel it. It's his way of saying, I still care. I still notice. I still need to be near you. And he'll keep doing it until you recognize the pattern. His pride may stop him from speaking, but it can't stop him from showing. And when he shows up where you are, you'll know without a doubt the silence broke him, the distance reached him, and his heart brought him right back to you. He brings up old memories. When a man misses you, one of the first ways it slips out is through the past. He might not come right out and say, I miss you. He might not even have the courage to admit to himself how strong those feelings still are. But listen closely to the words he chooses, because if he's bringing up old memories, that's not random. That's his heart showing its hand. See, men are simple in this way. We don't revisit things that don't matter to us. We don't rewind the tape on meaningless moments. If it didn't touch us, if it didn't leave an imprint, we let it fade. But when a man can't stop himself from bringing up those little pieces of history, that inside joke, that road trip, that time you laughed until your stomach hurt, that means those moments never left him. He's still carrying them. He's still living in them. And when he brings them up, what he's really saying is, I want to feel that again. It might start small. Maybe he sends you a text. Remember that restaurant we went to with the crazy waiter? Or maybe he casually slips into conversation. Man, I was driving by that spot we used to go to all the time, and it made me think of you. At face value, it might sound lighthearted, harmless. But dig deeper. That's not just talk. That's a confession wrapped in nostalgia. That's a man reaching back into the only place he still feels connected to you. The past. Because here's the thing, when the present is empty, the past becomes comfort. A man who misses you will try to relive the good times, even if it's just in conversation. Those memories become his way of keeping you close without admitting how much he wishes you still were. He doesn't just want to remember them. He wants you to remember too. He wants to spark that same feeling in you, to remind you of what you two shared, because deep down he's hoping you'll feel the tug he feels. And let me tell you, men don't waste energy on this unless the connection mattered. Think about it. How many people have passed through his life without leaving a trace? Plenty. But you're still echoing in his thoughts. You're still tied to places, songs, foods, jokes, experiences. That's why he brings it up. It's not that he's bored. It's not that he ran out of things to say. It's that missing you took him back to the only thing that soothes him, the memory of when he had you, and pay attention to how he does it. Sometimes it's deliberate, like he wants to see your reaction. Other times it slips out without a meaning to, like he can't help himself. Maybe he's laughing with his friends and says, man, she used to say this thing all the time. Or maybe he's talking to you and suddenly he's deep in a story about a moment that meant the world to him. That's when you know the heart is driving the conversation, not the mind. Here's the real truth. When a man brings up old memories, he's not just reminiscing. He's reaching for that connection, reaching for the way you made him feel, reaching for the safety and joy that came with you. And even if he won't admit it, that's his way of testing the waters. He wants to see if you remember too. He wants to know if you smile at the thought, if you laugh at the story, if you still carry those pieces the way he does. Because if you do, then in his heart, there's still hope. And sometimes the memories he brings up aren't even the big ones. They're not anniversaries or vacations. No, it's the little things. The random Tuesday night where you cooked together, the time you fell asleep on the couch, the way you teased him about something small. Why those? Because that's what sticks. That's what lingers when someone truly mattered. The little moments that seemed ordinary then, but feel extraordinary now that they're gone. That's where the truth lies. So when he starts pulling out those old memories, understand what's happening. His pride might still be intact. His words might still be guarded. But his heart His heart is showing you exactly where it still resides in the times he had with you. And no matter how tough he acts, no man revisits the past that often unless he wishes he could write the same story again. He watches you closer than he admits. When a man misses you, let me tell you something. He may not say a word, but he's watching. Oh, don't get it twisted. He'll put on the front like he's too busy, like he's moved on, like you're not even a thought in his mind. But that's the surface. Underneath, behind closed doors, on his phone late at night, he's keeping up with you closer than he'd ever admit. That silence he's keeping, it's not the whole story. His eyes are telling what his pride won't let his mouth confess. Men are funny this way. We'll swear we don't care, but we'll scroll through every post. We'll act like we're done, but we'll check to see if you've been online. We'll keep quiet, but we'll notice who you're with, where you're at, what you're doing. And you might think, oh, if he's not talking to me, then I'm not on his radar. Wrong. That's when you're most on his radar. Because when he misses you, you become the thing he measures everything else against. And here's the part most women don't realize. Men are natural observers when they're invested. A man who doesn't care won't notice a thing. He won't know if you dyed your hair, if you started dressing different, if your energy shifted. But a man who misses you, he picks up on details you don't even realize you're showing. He notices the glow when you're happy, the shift when you're guarded, the confidence when you've leveled up. And even if he never says it, he's watching because deep down, he still feels connected. Now, don't think it's always direct. Sometimes it's subtle, almost sneaky. He might not like your posts, but you'll see his name in the views. He might not text you, but he's watching who comments, who's around you, what kind of vibe you're giving off. And the funny thing is, he'll convince himself he's just curious. He'll say, I just want to see how she's doing. But no, curiosity doesn't check in this often. Curiosity doesn't track patterns. That's not curiosity. That's missing you. That's longing in disguise. And the reason he does this, because men are wired to want control. He might not have the closeness he used to, but watching you from a distance gives him a sense of connection. It feeds the part of him that's starving. He can't call you without swallowing his pride, so instead he looks from afar. He stays updated. He pays attention. Because even if he can't be in your life directly, he can't stand the idea of not knowing where you are in it. The truth is, watching you becomes his way of coping. It's his substitute for having you. Every picture, every story, every little update, it's like a breadcrumb trail he follows, hoping it'll give him some piece of the closeness he lost. And the irony is, the more he watches, the more he misses you. Because seeing you glow, seeing you move forward, seeing you shine without him, it burns. It stirs something in him. And that's when the slip happens. That's when he can't just watch anymore, and he breaks the silence. But until that moment, understand this: if he's missing you, his eyes will betray him. He may pretend he's moved on, but his attention stays locked in. And whether he admits it or not, the fact that he's still watching tells you everything you need to know. He can let go of the words, but he can't let go of you. And that's why in the quiet moments when you think you're forgotten, that man is right there watching closer than he'll ever admit. He makes excuses to connect. When a man starts missing you, let me tell you what happens. He begins creating reasons, excuses, little pathways just to get back in your space. Now he might not come right out and say, I miss you, I need you, I want to talk. Now, because his pride won't let him be that vulnerable. But the need to connect, that won't stay hidden for long. So what does he do? He manufactures moments. He creates excuses. He'll dress it up in casualness, but underneath, that's his way of saying, I can't stay away. And listen, these excuses can come in all shapes and sizes. Sometimes it's practical. A, do you still have that book I lent you? Or, I was just checking about that thing we talked about months ago. Sometimes it's playful. Remember when we used to argue about who makes the best pasta? I just had some today and I swear I thought of you. And sometimes it's downright flimsy, like I was in your neighborhood, thought I'd say what's up. See, it doesn't matter what the excuse is, what matters is the motive. The man is looking for a reason to get close again, and when you look closely, you'll see right through it. Because here's the real deal. Men don't chase what they don't want. We don't put an effort where our heart ain't invested. If he's reaching, even in small ways, it means the silence is getting too loud for him. It means the distance is eating at him. It means he can't stand being cut off from your energy any longer. So he goes fishing for a thread to grab onto, something light enough that he doesn't have to admit he's missing you, but strong enough to pull him back into your life. And you can always tell when it's more than coincidence, because it won't just be one time. Oh no, once he breaks that wall, the little excuses start stacking. He'll accidentally call you when he meant to call someone else. He'll send a message about something random, then follow it up with, "Since I got you, how have you been?" He'll keep creating these moments of contact, each one a little more obvious than the last, until you can see what's really happening. That man is trying to reconnect without saying the words. Now, let me be clear, a man doesn't risk his ego unless the pull is strong. He could stay silent, he could move on, he could bury the feeling. But when missing you takes over, he can't just sit with it. He'll find ways to close that gap, even if it's disguised as small talk, because in his mind, a small excuse is safer than a big confession. It's his way of protecting his pride while still feeding his heart. And it's not always about words. Sometimes the excuses come in actions. He'll offer help out of nowhere. Need me to fix that thing. Need me to drop something off. He'll show up for reasons that don't even make sense, all because being near you feels better than being without you. That's when you know it's not coincidence. It's not convenience. It's intentional. That man is engineering his way back into your world. The beauty of this is that excuses reveal what's really going on inside. Because think about it, if you didn't matter, he wouldn't need a reason. He wouldn't need to invent anything. He'd let the silence stand. But when he can't stand the silence, that's when he starts looking for cracks in the wall. That's when he starts testing, reaching, building bridges out of the smallest words, hoping you'll let him cross. And don't overlook the pattern here, because men don't go out of their way like this for nothing. Every little excuse is his heart saying, "I'm not done, I still feel this. I still want to be connected to you." And the longer he keeps making them, the clearer it becomes he's not just passing through, he's trying to find his way back. So when you see those excuses pop up, understand what they are. They're not casual, they're not accidents. They're the quiet slips of a man missing you more than his pride will let him say. He can disguise it however he wants, but deep down, every excuse he makes is a confession in disguise. A confession that he still wants you, still needs that connection, and still hasn't let you go. He makes excuses to connect. When a man is really missing you, he's not always going to come straight out and say it. Pride won't let him. Vulnerability feels too risky, but missing you creates a pressure inside him, and eventually that pressure finds a way out. The way most men handle it. They make excuses to connect. They find little reasons, sometimes weak, sometimes random, sometimes almost laughable, just to open that door again. It might start with something small. "Hey, do you still have that hoodie of mine?" Or, "I just remembered that restaurant you used to love." He'll act like it's casual, like he just happened to think of it. But deep down, you know it's not casual. It's intentional. He's looking for a reason, any reason, to hear your voice, to get a response, to feel your presence again. And it never stops at one excuse. The moment he gets a little crack in the silence, he'll try again. Maybe it's a text about something silly. Maybe it's a favor he offers to do. Maybe it's him pretending he accidentally called you. Each excuse becomes his safety net, a way to reach for connection without admitting the truth. Because if he says, I miss you, he risks rejection. But if he says, just wondering if you still have that thing, he gets to protect his pride while still feeding his heart. The funny thing is, the excuses don't really matter. What matters is the effort. Because a man who doesn't care won't invent reasons. He won't put himself out there. He'll let the silence stand. But when he's missing you, he can't sit still in that quiet. He has to break it somehow, even if it's clumsy, even if it's transparent. So every little excuse, every casual message, every just checking in moment, that's not coincidence. That's his way of saying, I can't stay away. He may not spell it out in words, but the truth is written all over his actions.